everyone, we're reviewing for a test, so let's see if we can do a couple of each type of problem. So the first one is just like the quiz, it's already factored. You need to think where each factor is 0. X squared is 0 when x is 0. X plus 4 when x is negative 4, and x minus 3 is when x equals 3. So let's sketch that. 1, 2, 3. Put intercepts at negative 4, 0, and positive 3. Now, the next thing is you have to remember that this is the factored form. So to find the degree, we have to add up the exponents. 2 plus 1 plus 2. This is degree 5. So knowing that it's degree 5 means it's odd, so the endpoints go in opposite directions. Now the last thing, and since it's positive, it goes up as you read left to right. The last thing is we have to decide, is this thing just going to go straight through and bounce off, or maybe not? Because this is even exponent, 2 is an even exponent, and 2 is an even exponent, we're going to bounce off of 0, and we're going to bounce off of 3. When we get to negative 4, that's an odd. So I'm going to pass through because it's odd, then I'm going to bounce off of 0, and I'm going to bounce off of 3, and then it will end up how I need it to. Okay? But you have to pay attention to the x-axis behavior as well as the end behavior. Now, for end behavior, we're using limit statements, so I will say the limit of the function equals the limit of p of x equals. There's two endpoints, so the one on the right, I'll say x goes to positive infinity, and the one on the left, x goes to negative infinity. As it goes right, it goes up, so we say the limit is positive infinity, and as it goes left, it goes down, so the limit is negative infinity. That's it for the first one. The second one is not factored, so the first step is going to be to factor it. There's a big GCF, so that's nice. I'll factor out the x. Now I have 2x squared plus 5x minus 12, and I'm going to have to split the middle. So what multiplies to negative 24 and adds to 5? I'll just make a chart. 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Where do I put the negative sign? Negative 3. So 2x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 12. X, 2x minus 3 plus 4. 4 times 2, 4 times, oh good, okay. So x plus 4, 2x minus 3. I don't need this anymore, get out of here. And then don't forget, I also have x. So those are my factors. Maybe I can just get this out of the way. All right. So now that I've got this thing set up, I can say, okay, where are my zeros? Again, I factored out an x, so it hits the origin. Also, negative 4. And then lastly, if you add 3 and divide by 2. So 0, 1.5, and then negative 4. Okay, this one is in standard form, so you just look at the leading degree. This is degree 3. It's positive, so again, it does this. And since all of the exponents are odd, it's going to pass through, pass through, pass through. It's about as friendly as they get. And since these are both positive odd, they have the same end behavior. So I'll write it one more time just because. The limit of the function equals, as you go to the right, so let's just say x. As you go to the right, it goes up, so positive infinity. The limit of the function equals, as you go left, it goes down, so negative infinity. Just like the quiz. Since the quiz, we've picked up long division. So let's use long division to divide. We have x minus 5, and then I will have my dividend, x cubed minus 7x squared plus 11x minus 15. All right, now, the name of the game is what do you multiply x by to get x cubed, and that would be x squared. Distribute x cubed minus 5x squared. And then the trick to long division is you have to remember to switch the signs. Flip both of them. If you don't flip both, you get it wrong. Negative 7 and 5 make negative 2x squared. Bring down the 11x, and we just are going to do it again. So what do you multiply x by to get negative 2x squared? That would be negative 2x. Distribute. Negative 2x squared. Negative times negative is positive 10x. Flip the signs. Plus, minus, cancel. Every time this leading term should cancel. 11 minus 10 is 1x. And now the last thing, what do you multiply x by to get 1x? 1. So we multiply by 1. Distribute x minus 5. And then again, flip both the signs. Don't get to the end and forget. So negative 15 and positive 5 make negative 10. That is the remainder. Remainder, negative 10. Now, I'm going to tell you, I want you to write your answer. Quotient times divisor plus remainder. So the quotient is the answer when you divide. X squared minus 2x plus 1. The divisor is x minus 5. And the remainder is negative 10. That's all I'm going to write my answer. And then it says, verify your solution. If you don't know how to check it, you don't know what you're doing. So to check it and to verify your solution, you are going to distribute x cubed minus 5x squared minus 2x squared. Negative times a negative is positive 10x plus x minus 5. And then we got minus 10 on the end. So combine like terms. Negative 5 and negative 2 make negative 7. 10 plus 1 is 11. Minus 15. Did I do it right? How would I know if I did it right? X squared minus 7x, or x cubed minus 7x squared. Look at what I got. That's the dividend. Okay, I'll move it up there so I can see it. Look, that is what I started with. X cubed minus 7x squared plus 11x plus 15. If you get the dividend, then you know you did it correct, because quotient times divisor plus remainder equals the dividend. So since I got the dividend, I know I did it correct, and that is how you verify your solution. It's like, yup, this is the dividend, so I am done. Just went a big circle. All right, now we're going to take the ideas of the factoring that we know, and we're going to graph this thing, and we don't have a calculator to help us, so we have to remember the rational zeros theorem. So what I do is I list factors of the leading coefficient, 1 and 5, and factors of the constant term, 1, and then it's always the constant term over the leading term. So 1 over 1 or 1 over 5. Plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 1/5. I don't know what to try. Let's try 1. Let's see if we get lucky. 5, 1, negative 5, negative 1. You might be able to just factor this by grouping, but I'm going to try 1. If 1 doesn't work, I'll try negative 1. But on your quiz, on your test rather, it will be friendly. You're not going to have to try 40 different numbers. If you try the first few, you'll get one that works. So we'll bring down 5, 5. Add, you get 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 times 1. Hey, got it. First try. All right. So it was cubic. Now I have a quadratic. And I'm going to write what I factored out. If 1 is a 0, x minus 1 is a factor. Now we split the middle. What multiplies to 5 and adds to 6? 5's prime. It's got to be 5 and 1. Plus 5x plus 1x. So split the middle. GCF of the first two is 5x. GCF of the second two is 1. 5x plus 1. X plus 1. And then don't forget x minus 1. Turns out positive and negative 1 would have worked. And negative 1/5 would have worked. So of the 4 things we tried, 3 of them would have worked. So my zeros are at negative 1/5, negative 1, and positive 1. So on my graph, I'll just do this. Negative 1/5 is about right there. Negative 1, positive 1. This thing is positive and odd, and all of the factors have an odd degree, so they're all pass-throughs. Positive, odd, easy. Turn around, boom, got it. That's it. That's the graph. Okay? That's it. The only thing that's tricky is knowing your rational zeros and hoping you get one that works. Let's try one more. Woo, x to the 4th. I might have to do 2 zeros this time. So let's list them all. That's 1, 3, and 9. So 1 over 1, 3 over 1, 9 over 1. I'm feeling lucky. Let's try, I'm just going to try 3. Normally I would do 1 and negative 1. I just feel like trying 3. 1, 4. I don't think it's going to work, but it would be funny if it did. 1, 3, 7, 21, 19. 19 times 3 is 57. This is getting worse before it gets better. 57. That's 45. That's not 0. I'm done. It didn't work. Okay, I just want you to see sometimes you try something, it didn't work. 3 is not a 0. Let's go back to maybe try positive 1, because usually we can get lucky with 1. 1, 4, negative 2, negative 12, 9, 1, multiply, add, multiply, multiply. Hey, we got one. All right, so now I have a degree 3. So I'll write it x cubed plus 5x squared plus 3x minus 9. Okay, what are we going to try now? Let's try negative 1. Okay, remember, I could try 1 or negative 1, 3 or negative 3. I already tried 3, it didn't work. Let's try negative 1. 1, 5, 3, negative 9. Negative 1, 4, negative 4, negative 1. That didn't work. So negative 1 doesn't work. We tried 3. Maybe we try negative 3. 1, 5, 3, negative 9. Negative 3, 2, negative 6, negative 3. This positive. Hey, we got one. All right. So x squared plus 2x minus 3. And I factored out x plus 3 because negative 3 was the 0. And I don't want to forget, I also have already factored out x minus 1 because 1 was a 0. So I'm going to include that down here as well. X minus 1. Now I will split the middle. This one's actually really easy. It's x plus 3, x minus 1. Wait a minute. X plus 3, x minus 1 twice? X plus 3 squared, x. So the problem was I could have done 1 again, or I could do negative 3 again. These are multiplicities. So the only zeros, this one's awesome, are at negative 3 and positive 1. So negative 3 and positive 1. 1, 2, 3, positive 1 right there. Those are the only zeros. And since they're both degree 2 multiplicities, I'm going to bounce off of both of them. So they're both going to be bounces, and this is positive and even, so it's going to go like that. Bounce, bounce. I can do better than that. Bounce. That's a little better. Bounce. And it doesn't ask you to identify it, but a good thing you can use to kind of check, like, did I do that right? The y-intercept is positive. I think the y-intercept should be positive 9. So I feel pretty good about that. But that's a weird one because you could have done 1 or negative 3 twice. You could have done synthetic division twice to get it down. But that's it for your crash course. That's really what you're going to do on the test. So if you can do this, you are in good shape. Just remember, you don't get a calculator, so you're going to have to be patient with the rational zeros. That's about the trickiest thing. So hit the books, smash that like, and subscribe.